I greatly and emphatically despise Charleston White, a person I've never talked about on this channel and have chose not to for those very reasons. But I think it's time that I, Miss Analytical, talk about Charleston White. And before I begin my analysis, I'm going to say, since Charleston White says that he's going to call law enforcement on any and everybody that makes videos about him, that speaks out against him, well, let me tell you something. You try to pull that stunt on me, Mr. White, and I'm going to tell you this. I will call every law enforcement in this country on you. Okay? Every little comment that you've made on the internet regarding every black individual, whether they're young, old, male, female, poor and rich, I will have everything documented, timestamped, lined up, and I will be calling. Because unlike other people, I do my due diligence. See, all those threats that you make subliminally talking about people, whether they're alive or they've gone to the other side, if you know what I mean, it is despicable and it's not cute. But people have not done their due diligence really about you because they just think, oh, you're a small time person that is trolling for attention. You're chasing clout. That's what you're doing. But see, when I see that you're trying to go hard to put young children, well, they're not children anymore, young black men who are still in their youth, you're trying to put them in jail because you're jealous of them because when you were their age, you were locked up for committing a crime, while both of these young men and others have graduated from college. They live their life. Oh, and their parents are multimillionaires. So you feel some kind of way because you didn't grow up in that life. Yeah. And you want to put them in jail and you want to call law enforcement on them. I think it's time that you be brought to a heel. I think it's time that your behavior is called out. And I think it's time that people stop entertaining your antics. Oh, and by the way, nice try with making that comment about Trayvon Martin and how that needs to happen to T.I.'s son. That's a crime, what you did. And you need to be locked up for that. That is a crime. That is a crime. And saying that somebody needs to do a George Zimmerman on him, that is a crime. And that's a federal crime. Because if something was to happen to T.I.'s son, they will certainly be looking for you. Because you're doing virtual signaling. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of you. And I'm sick of black people like you. You don't like black people. You are an agent of chaos. And you need to not just be exposed, but you need to be banned from the internet. Now I'm going to talk about the whole situation and breakdown of him versus T.I., Kingharris, Tootie, Raww, and Boosie. Let's get into it, shall we? Good morning, good morning, good morning. And yes, usually I don't talk about things like of this, type of, how can I say, of these topics, because I usually talk about news, current events, politics, things of that nature. But this is something that's critical. And for the record, I want to say this. There's nothing about anybody who's criticizing Charleston White because we condone certain types of behaviors. What we're stating is that our young black men have a right to exist, and they have a right to search out who they are, and they have a right to have their freedom. These young men do not deserve to be lined up and placed into the hands of law enforcement if what they're doing is just little, I don't want to say stunts, but little dispersed like disputes that's between them. That's not violence, causing a ruckus that's going to be, how should I put it, that's going to cause a safety issue for everyone. But Charleston White is the person that we all need to be careful with, because Charleston White virtue signals violence towards young black men. So I'm going to read to you a couple of articles, and you're going to understand why I feel the way I do and why I despise, of course, Charleston White. So we're going to go back to, Yahoo News. And I want to shout out Lovely T because she gave an excellent breakdown about this. So from Yahoo, courtesy of Bladder V News, T.I. checks Charleston White for threatening to call the cops on Kingharris. We all know T.I. doesn't play about his kids. So when controversial YouTuber Charleston White had some things to say about Kingharris, we knew his dad wouldn't be silent for long. The beef started when White went on an unprovoked rant about Harris and rapper Boosie badass son Tootie Raww. In the video, White first targeted Boosie and his son, criticizing Boosie's parents and choices. He commented on Tootie Raw's street persona, calling him soft and sheltered. White then brought up Kingharris, adding that he doesn't like him either and wishes that both of them would go to jail to learn a lesson. White continued his rant towards Harris as he questioned the teen's ability to fight someone. Like his father, Harris wasn't going to let the disrespect slide. He took to Instagram where he made very clear threats towards White. He called the YouTuber out for being tough on camera but running from a previous altercation. He ultimately told White the next time he saw him face to face, he would beat his ass. Not to be outdone by the 18-year-old, White continued to speak on Harris. In the clip posted by Ezo Squeezo, White held nothing back about his feelings for Harris and his father, T.I. Boy, your mom and daddy raised a yellow freak, he said. T.I., that's the kind of boys you raising? You got a yellow ass son saying he will jump on 50-something-year-old, men? White told the rapper he wasn't afraid to lay hands on his son. Say, T.I., look, if your boy jumps on me, y'all will bury that little yellow motherfucker, he continued. While the internet waited for the king of the South to respond, White let the Harris family know that he called the authorities. In a live post by the Shade Room, White told viewers that he tagged the Atlanta Police Department and Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis to alert them about a video where King threatened him. I want to put his son in jail, he said. That's all Papa Harris need to hear. T.I., whose real name is Clifford Harris, slid into the comment section of the post and let White know that they needed to talk. White didn't make time to speak with T.I. because he still has some things to get off his chest about his disrespectful son. But eventually the Rubber Band Man artist was finally taken off of the block call list and made it through to speak with White. It was apparent that no solution could be agreed upon by the two parties. Just got off the phone with T.I. and you don't get to dictate nothing, nigga, he said. White claims that T.I. stated he was just trying to get an understanding, to which he replied, I ain't trying to give no understanding, nigga. If you can't take what I took, then crash out, nigga. Send whoever you need to, he continued. After his quiet attempt to resolve the issue was denied, T.I. jumped on Instagram account and spoke his mind, reminding us that he's a legendary wordsmith. The clip started with T.I. letting White know, I'll stick my foot so far up your ass, you'll be flossing your teeth with my shoelaces, nigga. Tip said a lot, but his main point to White was, don't play with mine. While we are not sure what provoked White to make these teenagers his targets, it appeared that he might be in over his head. Outside of the active protection of his father and mother, Tiny Harris, the young adult, has a whole tribe behind him. Bladder V recently reported on his older sister, Zonique Pullins, and how she felt about people coming for her brother. As the beef continued, she tweeted her thoughts on people's negative views of her siblings. And this is what she said. When I was 18, I said dumb shit and had a ton of growing up to do. Y'all really could just ignore my brother, but I'm guessing y'all want him to act like an upperclassman because y'all think he grew up in the house y'all watched on TV every Tuesday. She finished her defense by asking people to give the young man some grace. Give my baby some time to grow into the king he's destined to be. And until then, send the kid some positive, encouraging words. She wrote, let us know how you feel. Should the Harris clan step in and defend King no matter what? Or should they just let him fight his own battles? And I'm going to tell you something. I agree with a lot of this. First of all, King did not threaten to do violence to you in terms of using a weapon. He just said, I'm going to beat your ass because you're talking about me out of nowhere and you're doing it for clout and for views. And you're basically telling people that Tootie, Raww, and I should go to jail. Me and you are not in the same age bracket. We don't live in the same state. Me and you are totally two different people. The only thing we have in common is that we're black and male. That's it. Why are you not just speaking of me, but why are you speaking of me to antagonize me? So when I say I'm going to beat your ass, instead of just taking it like a man and accepting it and being like, okay, I'm up for the challenge. I'm still talking about you. And if you see me, I expect you to beat my ass. You want to run to the authorities and call Fonnie Willis a woman DA? Not saying anything against her for a woman, but you want to call a DA who's a female and tattletale say, oh, I want you to put him in jail because he threatened to beat my ass. What kind of man are you, Charleston White? What kind of black man are you for that matter? Where is your dignity? You're totally off code. Back in the day, when people used to say, I'm going to beat your ass, we'd be like, so what's up? Step up. Step up. What's up? What's good? You take it like a man. Or if you couldn't take the heat, don't jump in the skillet. Meaning, if you basically don't want any altercations with these young dudes, you shouldn't have put their names in your mouth in the first place. You was wrong for this, but you were an instigator. And you want those instigators to throw rocks and hide your hands. Okay? But see, you chose the wrong people to do that to. Because T.I. and Boosie, they're not ever letting it go. Because you came for their children. You came for their children who, unlike yourself, graduated from high school on time. Okay? On time. And didn't kill anyone. You are a killer. And you killed somebody when you was like 13 so that you could fit in a gang. Let's rewind that. You killed somebody when you was 13 because you wanted to fit into a gang. And you lost your whole entire youthhood. That's something that you got to live with. And you antagonize young black men because you hate yourself for the choice that you chose to make. So you pick on people. You pick on people who are young, and then you pick on people who are no longer here on the ground in this earth. And you pick on only black people. You don't go after white people. You don't go after Latinos, nor Asians, only blacks. And that's why we have to ban you from speaking about us on social media. So there are other articles. And basically, Charleston White tagged all of the Atlanta Police Department over recent threats. Like, he really wants this young man to go to jail. And this young man said, I'll beat your ass. He didn't say, I'm going to kill you. He didn't say, I'm going to stomp you. I'm going to slaughter you. He said, I'm going to beat your ass. This is what he does. And you're an instigator and you're sliding. You're doing this because I believe that you're an agent of chaos that's there to basically send black men to jail. Because you purposely go after black people to pull these stunts. But see, now that you did it to young people, we seeing who you are. And I've been saw you for who you are because I can't stand your ass. I think that the powers that be put you up because I didn't start hearing about you until about almost 2 years ago during COVID. So I'm done talking about this clown. I'll talk about him later on. But with that being said, I'm signing off. Thank you and have a good day.